Hi everybody and welcome to what is week one of a diary of writing a song. I thought it might be quite fun to keep you guys up to date with what I'm doing while I can't get out and do concerts and things, and one of the things I'm doing is using the time to write. So rather than just doing that and it suddenly popping up somewhere for you to listen to, I thought it might be fun to let you in on the process so you can see how a song evolves from scratch up to a finished product. So the news is that the EP that I recorded in between the lockdowns is going to extend into an album, which is really exciting, and so I need a few more songs. So I'm going to show you the process of how I work. So first of all, I have an app that I use on my phone that I want to show you guys because I think it might be useful for some people. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's called MTSR, and it's a bit like a sketchpad for musicians, or that's how I use it anyway. So whenever I have a little idea for a song, sometimes it might be in the middle of cooking dinner for my kids, or I'm in the middle of Sainsbury's, which has also happened, and I'm not in a position to actually do anything with it. So what I do is I have this app and I just quickly record it in, and I'm going to just open up my saved songs. So I've got this whole list, you can't see it on there, of songs that I have got starter lines for and not finished. So I call it my vault. So when I need new songs, I come into my vault and go and have a listen through, and some of them are naff. I think it's absolutely fine for people to know that it is also okay to write naff songs and not use them. Some of them are good though, and some of them I just completely forget, which is why it's so important to record them. So when I was listening through looking for a new song, I came across this one. I'm going to play it for you, hopefully you can hear it.
In Flanders fields where the poppies grow, I lost my love in the earth and snow, and he held my love into the ground below. In Flanders fields, in Flanders fields.
So I'm going to stop it there. You may not have been able to hear that one, but it sounds like it was probably around the Remembrance Day time because it's about Flanders Fields. Now, I'm not sure I want to stick with that theme now, but I like the tune. It's a bit fussy. I'm going to simplify it, but I like the idea. One thing I've been doing quite a lot of research on at the moment is the Highland clearances. We used to live up in Scotland in a place called Aberfoyle and Kinlochard, which is right on the start of those highlands. And so the Highland clearances are something that have always fascinated me, having come across various houses that were abandoned. So I decided that I would make this song about the Highland clearances. And so the very first step for me when I'm writing a song is to research like absolute crazy. So I like my songs to be factual and to have that historical context so that if I'm telling it as a story, I'm telling the right facts. So I spent a good couple of days, happy days, doing research, and I've got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff on here. And what happens when I tend to research, and when anyone researches, I guess, is that you come across these absolutely amazing stories. And so I've come across a story of a guy called Donald MacLeod, he's pretty well known to be honest, who happened to be he was a stonemason, and he was also educated at the time and able to write in both English and in Gaelic. And so he made a point of logging a lot of what he was witnessing in English. It took a long time for people to listen to him, and in the meantime his whole family was hounded for bringing to light some of the things that were going on. I came across a fascinating story about his wife, and that is going to be the basis for my new song. So the story I came across is one of the 3 times they were evicted from their homes. And the story says that she was home alone because her husband was working away with 7 children, one of whom was hers, 6 of whom she'd actually taken on. They were her father's children, younger children. She'd taken them on because he'd been hounded from his house and he had died, and presumably his wife had too, and so she'd taken in these children. So she's home alone with 7 children, all under the age of 8 by the sound of things, when the people came to turf her out of the house, and they basically kicked all the children out just as darkness was falling, and then boarded all the doors and windows shut so they couldn't go back in. And to add insult to injury, they had just beforehand sent messengers round to all the local houses in the neighbourhood to say that if anybody took her and her children in, they would also evict them in the same manner. So people in the area were too scared to let them in. So for most of the night she walked around the area, this is a fairly barren, remote area, to try to find someone who would take her in, and eventually found a relative who took them in for the night. And that was just one of 3 of their eviction experiences. And what it says when you do the research on this particular lady is that it talks about, it says that she went mad, and that isn't a terminology obviously I'd use now, but it was a terminology at the time. It talks about her going going insane, incurably insane, I think is the phrase as well that they use. And so I felt that this lady needed her story told, and that her story was valid and that she should have a name. So I am going to turn this song into a song about this particular lady. Now, you might know if you've been following my page that I just couldn't for the life of me find out what her name was. She was nameless. So I did a bit of an ask around for various people to suggest names and got lots of suggestions, but since I've had your suggestions, I've actually managed to track down her name, so I can reveal, drum roll, that she was in fact called Betsy. So her official name was Jane, but she called herself Betsy, so she's Betsy MacLeod. So I'm going to call this song Betsy MacLeod's Lament, and I'm going to tell the story that I found of that one particular eviction out of the 3 evictions that they had. So I'm going to go through with you as I go along the different verses. I haven't completed them all yet, but I'm going to show you where we're up to so far. So what you can see is absolute total scribble and scrawl and crossings out, and that's a completely normal process when I'm writing a song for sure, and I'm pretty sure it is for other people too. So I'm going to sing you what I've got so far, and I'm really open to people putting suggestions in the comments for other ideas that they've got. I'm not thinking yet about how I'm going to orchestrate this or put instruments with it. At the moment I'm just keeping it just as a sung song, and it may stay that way, but I'll love to hear your ideas. So let me sing you what I've got. On Russell Plain where the heather grows, I left my heart in the fields we sowed. To my highland home no more I'll go. On Russell Plain, on Russell Plain. My clan have always tilled the ground, and my bands and I to its glens were bound, until Sellers men did our home burn down. On Russell Plain, on Russell Plain. When the fact came as darkness fell, with 8 strong men for our fight to quell, and to board the doors and us expel. No more my home, no more my home. And that's as far as I've got so far. Some of it I like, some of it I don't, so you'll see it evolve and change, I think, as time goes on. It needs a few more verses to tell more of her story, and I'd definitely be interested in hearing your thoughts and your suggestions on instruments and on lyrics and on telling the story and any facts that you know. If you're a Scotsman, feel free to correct my pronunciation. We did live there for 4 years, and I know that I'm, terribly incurably Sassenach, so you're very welcome to correct me if you wish. But yeah, so that's my song so far. So over the next few sessions, I'll show you how that develops in terms of a story and in lyrics, and we'll look at some options for orchestrating and adding instruments. I've got the option of shruti box, accordion, piano, and then I've got a cellist that I work with regularly, and acoustic guitarist that I can work with too. So we've got lots of options. So yeah, I would love to hear your suggestions, and in the next few days I'll upload another video showing you how the song has developed and see what your thoughts are then. Yeah, do send some comments and thoughts, and I'll look forward to hearing them. Thank you. Bye.